share what I'm looking at, what I'm trading as well. But first things first, we have the dollar, which was pretty bullish since we last spoke. I believe we were trading in the consolidation yesterday on stream, and it looked pretty stale. Like things are kind of stagnated a little bit, and we were expecting to see at least a retracement because we've had a really nice bearish move over the past few days. However, all that momentum kind of disappeared. So we've been looking for a bit of a pullback. I'm still pretty bearish on the dollar. Again, my main kind of thinking with the USD is that we're still forming these major lower highs. So my expectation is that we're going to form another one of them and get another drop to the downside. So I'm looking for some USD strength for a pullback, for some weakness to follow afterwards. So it's been very, very important to see what we do in and around this area here, 108, 108.5. I'm looking at this area here for that next lower high to form. And then things look good. We're looking for some shorts there on the dollar, some longs on EURUSD, longs and pound. We'll get through those pairs in the moment. But that's still very much the setup I'm looking at for the dollar right now. Possibly intraday, there probably might be some pullbacks to ride some momentum to the upside there. So maybe some shorts in euro, shorts and pound could look good on the lower time frames. But for myself, I'm still very much focused on the shorts. And as I said, that 108, 108.5 area is kind of where I'm looking to anticipate another lower high forming, just like we did over there. And just like we did in the previous one as well. So that's still my thinking. And of course, in terms of targets, back to the prior low. Nothing too crazy, and maybe if we're very bearish, possibly a push back into this support level. So just above 105.5. So that's my expectation with the dollar. Still very bearish. However, I do expect to see a bit more strength. Dropping to EURUSD, of course, we're taking that information into euro. I'm looking for something very, very similar, but the opposite. Again, euro was stuck at resistance for a while. Again, this one came pretty congested as well. Very sluggish, very corrective. So again, expecting euro to have a bit of a pullback, and we've seen that move. Although I'm looking for a little bit more downside before I do start engaging in any longs. I'm looking more so around this area, which is just above 1.03 for longs in EURUSD. That rhymes. A bit more downside before I do look for longs, and of course targets back to resistance, back to where we came from, and possibly we might see price break a little bit further and come and test 1.06, which is just above where current price is. But again, with euro, since we've had such strong resistance over here, I want to be buying away from that level, closer to support. And that's exactly where I'm focused right now. So if euro can head to the downside a little bit further, this could be a setup maybe for some time next week. And if we can see some characteristics of a higher low forming, are we looking for some entries and a push back to where we came from? Nothing complicated. So that's still very much the plan with euro, still looking at this kind of bowl-shaped pattern, looking for buys at the low there. Pound USD, I still really like this one. Again, Pound USD has seen some downside, not much as euro, but we have had some relief. Price broke out of this kind of corrective channel as well. A lot of the USD pairs were kind of giving us a bit of a corrective channel the past couple of days. And since the DXY broke out, so have the other USD pairs as well. But again, my thought process with Pound USD is, again, still looking for that next higher low. We've got a lovely trend line followed by a lovely level of price support, prior resistance, and now looking for that to hold a support again. As we can see, price respecting very well over there as well. So I'm looking to see if we can head to the downside a little bit further. And then again, looking for some longs to take it back into resistance, which of course is the swing high here around 1.27. And if everything goes very well, we might even see a push to 1.28 just above us. But Pound USD, this is really the area of confidence I'm interested in. Again, successive higher lows the past few days. So looking to basically continue that. And again, still looking to attack to the upside. I'm not really interested in following that bearish trend anymore. We've broken out that counter trend line, not really seeing much momentum in the market anymore. I'm more focused on following this uptrend and likewise following the DXY to the downside. So that's still very much my thought process there with pound. Dollar CAD, I still like this one to the downside as well. Very, very bullish dollar CAD yesterday. CAD was pretty weak as well. And of course, following the breakout of the DXY, USD was pretty strong too. So that was a recipe for a lot of upside here for dollar CAD. However, my bias, my analysis hasn't really changed. I said there's a couple of areas I was looking at. This area here, if that level didn't hold, I'll look at this area here, which price is just not quite at yet. So with dollar CAD, I'm still looking at the shorts. I was looking at this area here initially, didn't quite see the confirmations I was looking for, and a very steep retracement. So I wanted to see a lot more evidence of price holding that resistance before shorting. Didn't quite see that. And of course, we got the break there yesterday. So now that area's been put to bed. So I'm looking to see what we can do around the 1.45 area. Again, if things look good there, I will look to take my shorts and look to see if I can target the lows. Again, with USD CAD, the retracement is still very, very aggressive as well. So I have to be careful waiting for development before jumping into anything. But the plan is still very much looking for another lower high to form. That's our manipulation to the upside. Very strong move back down, breaking through structure. Now looking at a lower high to take some shorts. Of course, a push back to the low would be the target. So very bearish in dollar CAD and similar expectation. But again, being careful. The market is still overall bullish. I am expecting this to be a bit of a partial top for the market. But I have to be careful because potentially the trend might continue and hence we might be seeing a push back to the highs there. But for now, this is still an area which I'm really interested in. So we'll keep an eye out. We're not there yet, so not really much to report. But when we get there, hopefully sometime next week, and start to discuss some short opportunities. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one was very, very bearish yesterday. New Zealand dollar as well, which we'll get to in a second. Looks like Aussie and New Zealand dollar, the currencies themselves were very, very bearish. Of course, combined with the USD bullishness as well, we got some really strong moves to the downside for both of those currency pairs. So Aussie dollar, again, I'm still bullish. However, I'm backing off because we have completely broken through this consolidation. I don't really have another strong area which I'll be willing to buy from. So I would hold back from longing. Yesterday, I was talking about the retest of the high of the range here. I said we've got this counter trend line. If price could give us a very strong close above this, that would be a nice entry signal because at that point, price is respecting the range. And number two, giving us a very strong shift in momentum to the upside, breaking through the counter trend line. That would be a nice candle to get involved, find entries, and possibly take it back to the high. So that would be a nice entry signal. However, of course, we didn't get that. Market broke to the downside, and we just kept falling for pretty much the rest of the day. And so far this morning as well, prices kept falling too. So since we've broken through that consolidation, again, just because we break through that doesn't mean that price can't form a higher low and push up. But it does lower the probability, especially for me finding a good trade that at least fits my plan anyway. So with Aussie dollar, I'm backing away. Perhaps maybe some development over the next few days. There might be a nice setup that does present itself. But right now, since my confidence has been lost, if I'm looking to jump into trades now, it's more to do with fear of missing out or just greed, I suppose, rather than actually taking a good quality setup. So I'll back away from Aussie dollar since this is broken and just going to wait to see how we develop. Possibly maybe price wants to be bearish again. It's a very strong close on the daily chart. Perhaps price wants to come back and test support. That could be the case as well. So definitely staying open to both sides of the coin, but no opportunities just yet for New Zealand dollar. Likewise with Aussie dollar, likewise with New Zealand dollar, really strong move to the downside. This one hasn't quite broke through the lows here yet, but it looks like we're on our way to do that. Again, similar to the daily chart, with all that momentum, have to be careful that price isn't trying to make a move back to the low there, which could be the case as well. We have broken through the trend line, which we did a couple of days ago, actually. Or was it yesterday? Wednesday, yeah, a couple of days ago, and we broke through this area here as well. So after we broke through that confluence, I did sales back and away from New Zealand dollar because, again, the confluence is lost. So it's not that price can break through and then possibly continue, but that's just not my trade. If price was going to react to that, great. I'll be looking for entries, but similar to Aussie dollar, we kind of stayed within that counter trend line and kept falling. So no entries there for New Zealand dollar as well. Price is looking exceptionally bearish for that momentum over the past few hours. Possibly could be meaning a pushback to the low there. So yeah, being very careful, be very cautious with looking to long New Zealand dollar and Aussie. I think those currencies are very, very weak at the moment. So particularly being careful. But dollar CAD still looks like a good short. Pound USD still looks like a good long. Same with euro. But keeping a close eye on the dollar, making sure I'm not jumping into anything that's not quite there yet. And in terms of gold and silver, I'm pretty sure these guys are being a bit bearish as well. Gold's breaking to the downside, not really lighting up the market in terms of momentum. We're kind of just sluggishly falling to the downside here. Looks like we're just about trying to break support. So nothing kind of really exceptional from gold. If we had like a big drop like we had at the start of the week with that move there, if that, let's say, continued and we saw another big move to the downside, kind of like what we've got on Bitcoin right now, that could be a nice short looking to follow that to the downside because we've broken out this range finally. And at that point, I'll be expecting expecting gold to retrace. We've got this price swing high here at 27.91, and that could be a nice place which attracts gold for a pullback, and perhaps we might go bullish from there on afterwards. But for now, gold looks like it's trying to poke itself to the downside. I just want to see a bit more momentum from gold before I look to try and follow the move. But again, gold's been exceptionally bullish over the past few weeks now. This possibly might be a bit of a top in terms of where we might retrace from before continuing. So if we can keep up that momentum, then yeah, I think shorts will look pretty good there for gold actually. And in terms of silver, a similar situation as well in terms of, okay, the market is definitely not breaking through resistance. So I've been looking at this level here for silver, really nice level resistance. Again, looking for price to break through this level to get a swing back to the high here at 34.8, but unfortunately just haven't seen that break, or at least it hinted towards a break, but we came straight back underneath. And since we're closing below there quite firmly on the daily chart, again, as a wannabe buyer of silver, a bullish, I'm looking to buy silver. The fact that price is failing at resistance is, of course, not a strong sign for a buyer. If anything, that's what you want to see as a seller. Failing to break through resistance, this probably means more downside to come. So with silver breaking back underneath that level, looks like we're breaking through a nice counter trend line as well. Perhaps if we could see a more confident break of this area, that could actually give some nice entries to take lower. We've got a nice support level there. That could be a nice target on the 4-hour chart. So I'm actually seeing more selling opportunities here for silver and gold. They're both kind of on the cusp of breaking out. Silver looks like it's just about to break through this trend line support level, and gold looks like it's just about to break out that support level there as well. So if you can see a bit more confident breaks for both of them, I'll say shorts for the next few days could look pretty good.